Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a few of the new minifigures from Bloks. These are based on the upcoming movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows movie, and Bloks has created a few sets to go along with that movie as well as some individual figures. So these cost $3.99, and I got these from Toys R Us. These are not blind bags or blind boxes, anything like that. You will know exactly what you're going to get. So the ones that I have laid out here right now is Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Casey Jones. There are a couple more that you can get as far as these individually boxed minifigures go, and they're both bad guys. Basically, they're part of the Foot Clan. So if you want to get everyone, you're going to get yourself 5 heroes and 2 villains. All right, so if you want to get some more minifigures that's like this, you can go out and get some Bloks sets. Some of them include a hero and a villain, and some of them include multiple minifigures. And they also have some that have these cool little light up features. Like one of the bricks has a light up feature in it, and you can tap it and move it, and then it'll light up, and that's kind of cool too. But we're not going to worry about those now. For now, let's just take a look at each of these minifigures and see if they are worth it. So before we take a look at the figures, let's look at the instructions. So Bloks provided an instruction sheet that is the same regardless of whatever figure you purchase. And this can become a little bit of a problem because not all the turtles are the same. Some turtles have different accessories. Some turtles have different little attachments that you can put on their arms and things like that. And that's not reflected in these individual instructions. So if you get all 4 turtles, the basics are going to be the same, like how you connect the torso to the body and how you connect the legs and the arms. But as far as the little things, the little accessories and the rubber pieces that go over their shells and go across their shoulders, that's not going to be reflected in these instructions for every turtle. So you're going to have to figure some things out for yourself. All right, so first let's take a look at Leonardo here. Now, as you can see, he is completely translucent. You can see right through him. And that's because he's in a stealth uniform. And that's pretty interesting because Playmates also has a version of Leonardo in a stealth outfit. And the fact that Bloks did that as well tells me that we're probably going to see a stealth Leonardo in the movie. But I really like this guy. They do a really good job when it comes to making figures that look unique like this with this type of plastic. Bloks does this a lot with, especially with their Halo line. But anyway, as you can see, he does come with this little base here that comes in the box, and then you have his 2 katana weapons as well. I'm going to go ahead and just remove the base just so we can see the rest of him nicely. And one thing that I really do love about these micro action figures is that they have so much articulation. They have a ton of articulation, so much so that they can put other larger scale figures to shame. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Now, when it comes to the articulation with these guys, what you can do is you have a lot more fluidity with the joints. With a lot of action figures, when you pose them, you have to move one joint the way you want it to, and then you have to move on to the next joint in order to get that joint to do what you want it to. And in the end, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, and then you ultimately get the really cool pose that you want. But with these guys, it's a lot more fluid. So as you can see, I have Leonardo with his sword sort of down like that. But if I wanted to just say, okay, I'm going to have this kind of go back this way, move the arm up a little bit, and I'm going to have this arm with the sword sort of pointed forward, I can do that easily. I didn't have to mess with individual joints. I didn't have to rotate one at a time. It just worked out that way. If I want to have this sword sort of pointing towards you like this, and then this sword just sort of facing down like that, there you go. I can do that as well. So I really love the fact that you can pose these guys in such great ways rather easily. And let's just do another one. We have this one above his head this way, and let's just sort of have this sword cross over to that sword. So it's really easy to get these guys in some cool poses. So I'm going to remove these clear swords, which are also very nice, and we're going to take a look at the articulation individually as best we can. So as you can see here, we can still rotate the arms around 360 degrees. You do get that elbow bend just right there. With the legs, you can move them out. You can't move them out too far because you do put these together. These are all individual parts. You can pop them all off if you want to. So if you put them up too far, as you can see, there's a little ball joint right there. You can just pop it off just like that. So while you can spread the leg fairly wide, just don't go too far, otherwise the leg will fall off. But you do get a bend at the knee, just like that. You can see how far that goes. And of course, you do have the little stud holes at the bottom of his feet. If you wanted to put him on a stand and sort of get him like in a leaping, flying pose, maybe with one katana in one hand, and then he's just sort of coming down like this, you can do that as well. As for the head, you do still have a range of motion. When it comes to the head, you can move his head up about that far, and that's pretty cool. Now, that's also like on the little ball joint. So if you move his head up too far, you run the risk of popping it off. But just at this figure, at this small scale, the fact that he can look up that far, that is really something. That is really cool. I really like that. You can move his head down about that much, but it just pretty much looks like he's looking dead on if you choose to do it that way. You have some rotation there at the waist, so you can move that sort of left and you can move that to the right. And you can bend him sort of like this. Of course, you're bending the legs more so. You're not really bending the torso, but you can do that if you want. And these little micro action figures are just so great. And Mega Bloks does such a good job with these guys, trying to get him to stand up on his own. He can stand up on his own, pretty well. But of course, it is always a lot better if you put him back on the little base that he comes with. So yeah, that is a look at Leonardo. I really do like him. I think he's pretty cool. And now let's move him out of the way and let's go over to Raphael. All right, so here's Raphael, and as you can see here, he's a different color than Leo because he's not translucent. He has sort of like this dark olive green look to his skin. They also gave him these goggles that are molded to his head, like this little hat with these goggles here. And all the turtles seem to be wearing pants in this movie. So he's wearing, looks like some regular brown, I don't know if they're cargo pants or whatnot. He also has these high black boots right there. On the back of his shell, there's also this piece here. I think this is the paratrooper uniform. So this is probably just a parachute that he has, perhaps jumping out of a plane or something like that. But that clips onto the back of his shell. And then you also have this little rubbery attachment that goes over the shell. And then in the front, it just sort of crosses over to his chest there. And he comes with his two weapons, two sides. The sides are not painted. They're just straight up silver. So that's a little detail that, I wish that they were painted. But I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because these guys are only $4 a piece. So you still get the same articulation with Raphael as you do with Leonardo. So I really don't think it's necessary to go over the articulation again with this guy, but just want to show you all the stuff that he comes with. You can put his size inside of these little slits on the back. So you can take one side and you can just sort of stick it down in there just like that. So I love the fact that you have a place for your weapons just in case you don't want to carry them. Looks like there's a little piece of hair or something right there. And yeah, the paint detail on this guy is pretty good. Mega Bloks does a really good job with paint, especially these days. Now, these are little armor pieces that Raphael comes with. The instructions, like I said earlier, they're only for, well, they're not even for one turtle because it's a mix-up of parts on that instruction sheet. So they don't really tell you necessarily where to put the armor for Raphael or where to put the armor for Donatello. You have to sort of just look at the artwork and the pictures that come on the instruction sheet and then just kind of get an idea of where each piece goes. But he has two armor pieces, one down there and the other one on the upper arm. So that's Raphael. Looks pretty good. Same articulation, trademark side weapons. Can't complain. Let's move him over to the side and let's bring in Donatello, who personally, Donatello is my favorite turtle out of them all because he is smart. So Donatello has on some camouflage pants. As you can see, there is some sort of like a marbleization going on with the lower part of his body. It's not supposed to be his skin. These are just the pants that he's wearing. So you can see that there's little speckles of paint all over the place there. And he's got his trademark bow staff. And he has a couple of other arm accessories. You have this right here, which I'm not sure if it's supposed to be armor or just some sort of accessory. And then over on this, I'm not sure if you can quite tell, but doesn't that sort of look like a Super Nintendo controller? Let's look at it this way. There we go. Doesn't that sort of look like a SNES controller? I think Donatello may have repurposed that in the movie and used it for one of his tech gadgets and whatnot. So he's not wearing any glasses, at least not in this particular mode. And there's his purple shell. All the turtles have holes on their shells, so if you want to plug something into that hole, you can. Made in China, because of course it is. And Donatello looks great as well. Now, when you put these guys together, the arms and the torso, upper torso, are going to come already put together. So the only thing that you have to do is you need to attach the legs. You need to attach sort of like the cod piece, the piece that connects the legs to the upper torso. You need to connect those pieces together, and those can be a little finicky sometimes. You might have to use a little bit of force to get those to stay put. So yeah, you have to do that. And then I think perhaps the toughest part, none of it is all that hard, but perhaps the toughest part is just getting this rubber piece over the shell and then making sure that it, comes back around to the front and aligns itself properly. That's the trickiest part of putting these guys together. So there's Donatello. Let's move on to, let me grab him here because I got something to say. All right, so here's Michelangelo. And he's got one arm. So, yeah, he did not come with the lower part of his arm out of the box. So that's a little mess up by Mega Bloks. And I'm pretty upset about that because I thought that Mega Bloks was better these days when it comes to quality control. It used to be kind of all over the place, but they've gotten better with everything that they do. But it really sucks that my Michelangelo does not have his lower arm. I went to the support site for Mega Bloks and I tried to input the appropriate model number so that you can get replacement parts, because you can do that just like Lego. If something's messed up, you get in touch with them, they'll send you a replacement. But even when I put in the model number, it says that the model number is invalid. So maybe these sets, these micro action figures are probably so new, maybe it's not in their database. I don't know. I'm going to keep trying because even though these things are only $4, I want all my turtles to have all their body parts, if that's not too much to ask. Anyway, this is Pirate Michelangelo, another variant, another one that Playmates Toys is making. And as you can see, he does have his nunchucks. They did paint the chain on the nunchucks, so I'm glad that they managed to do that with it. So I appreciate that a lot. And his shell is just a plain black shell. He's got his eye patch there. You can get a little closer look. He's got his little eye patch there. He has a bit of a vest going on. And his chest is not painted any other thing except for just the regular sort of like a matte olive green. So no further detail on that. And this is his belt. He doesn't have like the two strands coming down like Raphael does. He just has the one. But the biggest disappointment is that, of course, he's missing an arm. So that's the worst part of them all. So yeah, that's Michelangelo. If it weren't for that arm, I say that he looks pretty good. So we got one more to look at, and that is going to be our good friend Casey Jones. So Casey Jones is done really well. Check out that red paint on his jacket there. I'm not sure what that's supposed to signify. I don't think that's supposed to be blood from bashing in the skulls of Foot Clan people, but whatever. Really nice hockey stick that he has there. And because you can pose these guys in such dynamic poses, you can actually get them in a pose that actually makes him look like he's, playing hockey. I love the fact that you can give him a little head tilt because, like I said, it is like a little ball joint, so you can tilt the head. I mean, look how far you can tilt that head. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So that helps with a lot more expressiveness as well. Let's flip him over. On the back, he has the peg hole in the back just like the turtles do on their shells. Really plain blue jeans, dark blue shirt, got a white hoodie underneath with a bit of a sort of like a yellowish green shirt underneath that hoodie. So yeah, this is Casey Jones. I say that he looks fairly good. He has some random paint marbling on his mask there. And you see we can get kind of close. He's got some paint going on there that's probably randomized, so no Casey Jones will look the same, but he does look pretty cool. And you cannot take off the mask, just in case you were wondering. All right, so there you go, guys. That's a look at the 5 individually boxed micro action figures from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows from Mega Bloks. Like I said, there are 2 more to get in this line, and they're both Foot Clan members. So if you want to get everyone, you have to pick those 2 up as well. You can find these guys for about $4, and I got these guys from Toys R Us, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the standard price from them. I really do like them. I think that they are fantastic, especially the best part is the articulation. Mega Bloks has done a far better job with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license than, say, what Lego did with them. Of course, there's always going to be limitations to Lego because all the minifigures are uniform. They're not meant to be posed or anything like that. But they did a really good job with these Mega Bloks characters for TMNT. I think this is the way that it should have been all along. And so if you're looking for little miniature versions of your turtles to display, this is definitely the way to go. It is not that expensive and they look quite good. Could they look better? Well, sure, of course they could. You know, I would love to have more detail on the chest area for the turtles, but then again, I'm not too sure exactly what that would entail because I'm not sure if the turtles on their chest have any other further decals or marks or scars or anything like that. So just for what they are, I think that they're just fine. Really like the translucent Leonardo. I think he is definitely the standout. He looks the best to me, and these things are just great. So go ahead and pick these guys up. They get a thumbs up from me. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.